In this video, I'm going to be responding to the Wall Street Journal's article about student loan forgiveness and how Joe Biden is choosing to has not been able to reduce that, and how I think we're looking at the wrong side of the problem. So what we're looking at here is a article from the Wall Street Journal, and it shares the story of Melanie Kelly, who's 38 years old, and she has $125,000 in student loans. And one of the crazy things is that ends up being $1,000 a month, which I'm amazed that it's not more than that. But it's such a, it has to be such a crushing thing to just know that even despite having gone to school and quote doing the right things, there's still just this insane amount of pressure. And it says, she said down here as well that some of the effects of it as well are choosing to not start a family, choosing to not buy a house, and it almost ends up just pushing the life that we want to start even farther back because of the lack of resources. And a part of the reason why I wanted to bring this up is I wonder if, instead of focusing on trying to forgive student debt, what if a part of it is a more emphasizing the whether the loan is necessary in the first place, that instead of trying to catch it up on the back end, I'm not against that. And on the other side, I think there needs to be a higher level of awareness that, why are we giving these loans? I'm in school right now and I do qualify for FAFSA and I've qualified for different things, and I'm really grateful for those. And each one of the semesters, I could take $14,000 worth of loans in addition to that. All I have to do is check a box. And I think there are a lot of other young adults and college students that are going, man, I can have $14,000 deposited to me right now? Sure. And there's this, it seems like this disconnect of, let's try to forgive it after the fact instead of solving what is the problem on the front end. Why is college $125,000 when a lot of these you end up making 65, maybe 100, and there are now 9-month programs where you can become way more efficient in specific technology spaces or cybersecurity and be making 6 figures. And that's so different from being at a private university or paying thousands of dollars to live on a campus because you have to for a certain amount of time. And so that's the thing that is kind of eating at me with this article, is that we're looking at the problem, but we're not actually solving the root, because there's going to be 17 and 18-year-olds that are going to continue to make these choices because of a lack of education and a lack of understanding that it is possible, that there are things like FAFSA, there are scholarships, there's ways to work part-time or join the military, there's all these different avenues, or there's ways to go to trade school. There's these things that I didn't even really know were an option. College was the only option that I was aware of. And so I think that's more the shift that would be more helpful than trying to resolve this from the back end. And it also makes the people like myself that are doing the best we can to go through college without any debt or to pay our way through, it also can be a little bit disheartening in that I have made choices to do this in a different way than I might have if I knew that were an option for it to be forgiven. But I knew that I didn't want to be 38 or 35 or 40 with debt. Even if it took me a little bit longer to graduate, that was a worthwhile trade-off for me. And yeah, it just ends up being such a challenge. So that's what I wanted to share about. I hope that this has been helpful to some extent, of focusing on what are the ways that we can educate ourselves on to not be in that place to begin with. And if you're a college student or young adult, know that FAFSA is something that we should be applying for, that there are scholarships that we can be applying for, getting some sort of a paid internship or a part-time job while we're in school. That actually is really helpful for our time management and being able to grow in who we are as people. And so those are the things that I want to encourage you to do if you are a college student or young adult, and to the best of your ability to avoid the student loans, because it just ends up being such a challenge on the back end. Or if you are choosing to go to a state school where it's less than $20,000 even in total, like where I'm going to school at Sacramento State University, it's about $4,000 per semester. So if you've gone to community college and then you go there, that's about 16 grand to graduate. And that's at least doable. That's potential to be that could be paid off within a year, even making 65, 70K a year. So that's my encouragement to you, is to look for what are the other options, what could we be missing, and how can we solve the root of the problem rather than the branches.